So we continue with our Sunday service. We had a little glitch there. I'm not sure what happened. But we're going to finish the Sunday service because we are resilience. And so we talked about doors opening and doors closing and being able to look for a favorable outcome no matter what may happen. Life is always changing, but we have to be optimistic that a door that closes is offering us a new beginning in some way. And so our step in building our resilience is using our values. Friedrich Nietzsche said, "He who has a why to live can bear almost any how." I'll read that again. He who has a why to live can bear almost any how. You see, your values are the things that you consider to be important in your life. Values like honesty and kindness and autonomy and helping others and financial independence. When we connect to our values, our personal values, they help us to face stress. You see, we all have some core values that we live by, and they are a great source of strength for us. They help us to face adversity. And as we go through adversity, relying on those values and strengths, they keep us going. When we go through adversity, we generally emerge stronger than we were before. Our values give us a reason to go on, especially in times when events that are happening around us don't align with our values. We can affirm our values, we can build our resilience during stressful life events. So, values help us to shift our focus from focusing on what is wrong to focusing on what makes life worth living. That's a significant point. Our values help us to stop focusing on what is wrong and to change our focus to focusing on to what is worth living. So I invite you to take some time with this little homework for you. I invite you to do an exercise. And in this exercise, consider why it is worth it to you to persevere and to get through these troubling times. How can you get through these challenging situations? Plan. You need a plan of action. You can be weighed down, knocked down, bent over, stressed by the circumstances that are happening. But we want to build our resilience, our elasticity, our ability to bounce back. And so we build a resilience plan based on the things that we have for in our lives. We've all come through difficult times. Perhaps the death of a loved one, some trauma, some adversity, the loss of a job. Initially, it all seemed very daunting. Yet over time, you adjusted, you adapted because there is an inherent resilience within you. So we have this inherent capacity to adapt despite challenging circumstances. So research says that resilience is associated with our inner strength, our competence, our optimism, our flexibility, our ability to cope effectively when faced with adversity. We do this, build our resilience through our social supports, our friends, our family, through our active coping skills, learning how to cope with a situation, knowing that one door that closes will open up another door. And we bounce back by drawing on our past. What circumstances in your life did you go through? What did you do? And how can we bring those things back to life in our present circumstances? How can we learn and develop and draw upon our past using what has worked, building a strategy? What solutions did you find? We build resilience by knowing that change is constant, that doors open and close. We focus on the new beginning, not on the past mistakes. We can use our values to help us deal with stress and motivate us to be positive. We move from what is wrong with our life to what is worth living. So we can learn from our past. We can take wisdom from what we did in the past to move forward. We are so adaptable. We adjust as necessary. We have that inherent ability to do so. And so those are three steps that you can use during this time of these two pandemics, the COVID-19 pandemic and this pandemic around social and racial injustice and the protests and all of the different things that are happening in our world that are so life-changing. How do we adapt to all of this? It's happening so fast for us. Change is necessary, it's true, but it's happening really fast. So one of the people that stand out for me in terms of being resilient. Recently, we've learned a lot about Congressman John R. Lewis. If you've been watching, the service was a beautiful service that they had for him. And he died recently. And he was a great example of resilience. From an early age, he began to really tune in to Dr. King's message about how social change could be brought about. And he, over his 80 years of life, he had a relentless fight for equality and social justice. At a young age, he risked his life in demonstrating the right for Black people to vote in the segregated South. And anybody who knows about our history, we know that things have not always gone well in our country as it relates to race relations. But he demonstrated to help people to vote. They walked across that Edmund Pettus Bridge, and you've seen the video by now of that bloody Sunday and how he was bludgeoned by a state trooper and ended up in the hospital. But that didn't stop him. He knew that nonviolent resistance was the way for change to be made, and so he persisted. He helped to desegregate lunch counters. There were restaurants where Black people couldn't go and have lunch, and he and others sat in. And they went through terrible times with people pouring hot coffee on them and kicking them and hitting them and spitting on them as they tried to say that they too had a right to come into a restaurant and eat. He also tried to desegregate the buses. He connected himself in a way with the civil rights leaders of his time. He was a great civil rights leader, and he worked tirelessly to the day of his death, really, to bring about change. He kept fighting for social justice, racial justice, equality, and equity in our country. He was a man that as doors closed, he looked to open another door. He also worked to close those doors on actions and activities that blocked equality and to open new doors. He had a vision of a more just America. His values of life and liberty that is promised in the laws of our land, the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution, he worked tirelessly to help us to live up to that creed. He also had kindness and concern for others. He looked past he looked to the past and he used the lessons that he learned to build a better future for all people. So he is an example to all of us that there is something for all of us to do to make the world a better place and to not give up until you see the change. And so life is hard, things are difficult, but you have within you an inherent resilience capability to adapt, to adjust, to spring back with some elasticity, to let go of the wrong that's not working, and to look for opportunities for something new to come, to bring about change. We have our values for fairness and equity and love and kindness and justice and honoring of others and compassion and kindness. We have those values that help us to move forward in our lives. And we can make a resilience plan using our past strengths to help us navigate these present troubles. So I see you as resilient. And I know and affirm that we have what it takes. Together, we stand strong. We build up our own resilience and we create a mirror for others to look around and say, you are strong. I too can be strong in the midst of all that is going on. And so I bless you today as you go forth into this beautiful Sunday. May you feel stronger, more inspired, and may you know that you have the ability to adapt, to adjust, and to stand strong, and to bounce back from all that is happening, and to come back to that place and center of yourself where the Christ in you gives you wisdom, guidance, power, and strength to navigate these difficult times. I behold the Christ as you, sending you a virtual hug. God bless you on this Sunday. Namaste. And know that this is a two-part service. Blessings.